most serious Civil War incident involving the Hatfields and McCoys resulted in the death of Asa Harmon McCoy on January 7, 1865.
Hey guys, Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum, FredMcCoy.com. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great day.
If you just heard that opening of that CD, that's another track. That's concerning, they're saying the most important history-changing event was when Asa Harmon McCoy was killed. And that's not true. The worst event that took place during the Civil War or during the hard feelings was when Vance Hatfield up and deserted and took a bunch of guys with him, 15 to 18 men. Imagine 15 to 18 men when you're already short on troops and they up and leave. And what wasn't killed that day were taken POW. So even though Randall McCoy felt hard over his brother being murdered, no doubt hurt his feelings. The worst thing that ever happened was the fact that him and Uriah, my great-great-grandfather, spent the next 2 years. Actually, Uriah was actually shot that day. He just didn't die. He mended in a prisoner of war camp and spent the next 2 years in POW camp along with Randall. But we're going to listen to some more here and continue on.
Some time in a Lexington hospital with a broken leg, and on December 24th, 1864, he received a leave in Catlettsburg, Kentucky. After Asa Harmon McCoy returned to his home on Peter Creek on the Kentucky side of the Tug, he...
Continuing on, he says there that Asa Harmon McCoy received a leave after getting injured. He received a leave from his unit in Ashland, Kentucky. Guys, Asa Harmon McCoy, thank you, babe. Asa Harmon McCoy was discharged. December the 24th, 1864. Discharged. Not leave, not sent home to mend, not to return later. He was discharged. There's a discharge for Asa Harmon McCoy. He'd done been injured once in the war, and now he's got a bullet in his hip or his leg, and he's sent home. There was no leave, because, see, they want to say leave so they can say later on when Martha Patty Klein, Asa's wife, signed the papers for Sheriff Basil Hatfield, so he wouldn't have to do a criminal investigation or charge Vance or Jim Vance or anybody, because he had been discharged. When he was killed, he was a civilian. They killed a civilian. But if he's on leave or if he's returning to his unit, then that would be an act of war. So see, that's spoken in the history. There's nowhere where there's, and we'll post the document at the end where he had been discharged. Discharge and leave is two totally different things. Going home and deserting is two different things. If you're going home after you've been discharged or if you're deserting like Vance did. But see, it's funny how when Vance deserts, they want to say, oh, he went home. He just returned home, or he done this. We'll finish up.
After Asa Harmon McCoy returned to his home on Peter Creek on the Kentucky side of the Tug, he was murdered. Jim Vance, an uncle of Vance Hatfield, met up with Asa Harmon and threatened the Union soldier.
Jim Vance met up with Asa Harmon and threatened him. Where have you guys seen that? Where have you heard that at before? Remember in the miniseries, the fictional movie miniseries, where they're in the saloon and Asa walks in and makes fun of Jim Vance with his dog, and Jim Vance threatens, and that's movies, guys. There's never, the hard feelings was between Vance Hatfield and Asa Harmon. And, but this is how you can talk things and speak things into history. As far as this man here says, Jim Vance had threatened Asa Harmon McCoy. He did in the movies. You know, reason Asa Harmon was hiding out in the cave, and we've said this in many videos, because he feared Vance's Hatfield gang. He feared the Logan Wildcats, not the authentic, not the original, not the real Wildcats. a Confederate unit that were known for how good they could fight and how tough and how bold and brave they were. Devil Anse made this an imaginary group up, Logan Wildcats. He's from Logan County, and we've got the Logan. We've branched off. We're going to open another branch and live on your all's reputation. Now, we're going to be like Frank and Jesse James. We're going to be like the Cole Younger gang. We're going to rob and steal and pillage, but we're going to call ourselves Guerrilla Group. And that's what has been taking place. They feared. Devil Anse had a reputation of burning people's cabins down, their houses down. Reason that Asa Harmon went and hid in a cave was to stay away from his wife and kids. He didn't want to put them in harm's way. He knew that if he was there, they were in harm's way. So he'd rather go out here in January and live in a cave, stay in a cave, than he would stay at home and put his family at jeopardy. And, you know, as Sam McCoy says in his book, and Sam McCoy and T.C. Crawford is the only two people that's ever wrote a book that were there. T.C. talked to Devil Anse, he talked to Cap Hatfield, interviewed him, and Sam McCoy says that when he went by the next day after Asa Harmon was killed, that Martha told him that Devil Anse, Hatfield, Jim Vance, and a bunch of men showed up and wanted to know where Asa Harmon was at. She told him she didn't know. And then that's when they followed the footprints through the snow up into the cave where he was at, and that's where they killed him at. Let's continue on.
Vance had a reputation, even among his rough associates, for ruthlessness and vindictiveness.
Ruthlessness and vindictiveness. Guys, Jim Vance, he did have that. He didn't get that name Crazy Jim or Bad Jim for nothing. Jim Vance, don't let me take nothing away from Jim Vance. Jim Vance was a mean man. But Devil Anse was the conniver. Devil Anse was the instigator. Devil Anse stirred it up. Now, Sheila will put, I'm not going to go back there and try to find it right now, but if you will, I know she's got it somewhere. Selkirk McCoy, who was supposedly a witness at the pig trial, he was the McCoy that flipped and voted for the Hatfields. And we always wondered, why did he do that? Well, one reason, him and his two sons worked for Devil Anse, Hatfield, at the time. They lived in West Virginia, so why wouldn't he? But he tells himself to the newspaper, the Carrier Journal in Louisville, Kentucky, done a story while the 9 were taken prisoner and taken to Louisville to be held for trial. They interviewed Selkirk, they interviewed Wall Hatfield, and Selkirk says that he's never seen nobody more vindictive than Devil Anse Hatfield. If you get him mad at you, it ain't no doing till he gets even with you, and it's on bearing, and he just goes on and on. I don't know the exact words. Sheila will try her best to post that newspaper article. That's not from Fred. That's not from somebody that wasn't there. That is from Selkirk McCoy, the man that voted along with the Hatfields at the pig trial, and now he's in jail. He's incarcerated. He's going to prison, and he's protected. He's protected from Devil Anse. He's in jail. Devil Anse, none of them can get to him. He's already arrested, and he doesn't care to talk. And he said he's the most vindictive fella that he's ever met in his life.
Yep, nothing to do until he gets even with you.
That's what he.
Back
that's,
at you.
Boy, that's great, baby. I think that's his exact words.
Yeah.
Nothing doing until he gets even with you.
Yep.
Guys, we'll go ahead and finish up here with this little segment, but I think we're about done critiquing it.
A few days after the meeting, someone fired at McCoy from ambush as he drew water from his well. Knowing that to remain at home would mean certain death and for the safety of his family, Asa Harmon hid out in a nearby cave. His slave, Pete, carried him food and supplies. The attackers traced Pete through the snow to the cave. There they found lame Asa Harmon McCoy and killed him, less than 2 weeks after returning home from the Union Army. When Asa Harmon McCoy's body was found, the blame for his death almost naturally fell upon Hatfield and Vance. His death and the suspicions that fell upon Devil Anse Hatfield and Jim Vance added a new chill to relations between the Hatfields and the McCoys, which suffered already from the guerrilla activities during the last years of the Civil War.
says the blame of his death automatically fell upon the Hatfields and Jim Vance. Naturally, who else had been into it with him? Who else had threatened him? Who else did he have a problem with? Why was he hiding out in the cave instead of staying at his house? He knew that. He knew his life was in danger. And it said it added another chill to the already hard feelings. What already hard feelings? What already hard feelings? The already hard feelings that Devil Anse Hatfield had deserted in 1863. Remember, this is January the 7th, 1865. January 7th. He just got discharged on December the 24th. Christmas Eve, he was discharged from the Army. You know, we was talking a while ago about, they said he was on leave. Really? He wasn't on leave. That unit, his unit was actually disbanded. After he was discharged and came home, that unit in Ashland, Kentucky was disbanded. It was over with, no more. So there was no unit when the people says, oh, he was returning to his unit when he was killed. There was no unit to return to. And that is the hard feelings. Of course, when Randall McCoy got out of POW camp, it wasn't bad enough that he went there after Devil Anse and a bunch of guys, the Hatfield gang, had deserted. That wasn't enough. Now he comes home to find out that they actually murdered his brother. And you know, he talks about suspicions. This guy here talks about the suspicions were that there's no suspicions. Sam McCoy talked to Martha McCoy. Martha said, Devil Anse Hatfield and Jim Vance and a bunch of his men come to her house wanting to know where Asa Harmon was at. And she told him he wasn't there. He ain't here. And they followed the footprints up around behind the Blackberry Grade School there. That's where he was originally from, Peter Creek. You know, if you're standing there at Blackberry Grade School and if you're standing there at the bridge and you're looking at Asa Harmon's historical marker here at the bridge, if you'll turn directly to your left, right here's the school. And right over that hill behind the school is Peter Creek. That's Peter Creek in Phelps, Kentucky area. That's where he was from. That's where he lived at for a certain amount of time. At this time, he was living, the school wasn't there, of course.
Of course.
He was living in a cabin out back of the school. There's used to be some old rocks out there that was left over from that cabin. And that's where he lived at. They actually ended up burning that cabin down later on when they had arrested Johnson. Was going to take off to Pikeville with them, and they were going to go across the mountain, and they actually burnt that cabin down. And Devil Anse was known for burning people. That's what they did during the Civil War. They picked that up in the Civil War. But you didn't just do it to everybody to punish people. It was a Civil War thing, but he carried it over. That was a way to intimidate, a way to scare people. And when they burnt that cabin down, if you're looking right through the middle of the Blackberry Grade School, up here on the left on that hill, that it's off limits. It's no trespassing. You can no longer go there. But there's a cave up there on that hill off to the left of the school. There's a cave. They turned it into a coal bank later on and started getting the coal out of it where they could heat their homes and stuff later on in life, I guess. But that's the cave that he was hiding at when he was killed. And Paul Hatfield and myself and Sheila went through that cave years ago with metal detectors and all this and that. Hate to even talk about metal detectors anymore because there's so many people now that puts on these imaginary finds and stuff, and it's hard to even. But this was back in 2011.
It was on your birthday.
Yeah, it was on my birthday. It was January 11th. It was 2016, 2014. Whenever it was, we made a video, and it actually plays in the museum for people to see where we find an old canteen stopper, a belt buckle, different things like that. And that was way back before all these other people started with metal detectors and stuff. So, but this is it. No, bless you.
What you showing?
Well, I'm gonna go down through here. We were talking the other day about different certificates and different things.
All your certificates.
When I was talking about J.D. Vance. And I was just going to show a few things up there. I don't even know if they can see them or not. But that's of 40 years of a law enforcement career. NRA Police Firearms Instructor, Kentucky State Police Academy Firearms Instructor, Who's Who in Martial Arts, where we broke a record back in '84. Just different things from the Marine Corps and law enforcement. I don't know why I'm adding them in with this. Just sometimes while we was in this room, I thought, well, this would be a good place to start. There's the old Hatfield Museum. That's over there. After Mom and Grandma opened theirs at Blackberry Supermarket in 1972, something like that. A few years later, it was after they had the thing at Blackberry Fort, the monument dedication in 76. After 1976, they come to Blackberry Supermarket to look at some of Mom's collection. And when they did that, after that, Henry and Jean Hatfield opened the a Hatfield Museum there. They had a little mobile home over there, and they opened them a Hatfield Museum over at Sarah Ann. And that's just a few of the awards and different things throughout the years. Probably can't even see them.
Yeah.
But once again,
a little bit, I can see them.
I see these people with this make-believe and made-up military history and made up this and that, and I just, you know, it's out there. If you want to go work for it, go to classes, go to schools, go do things. That's the world record. That's the guy that had the world record before I broke it. There's the karate posters from back home. There's one of that's me and my brother up there, and our big black guy in the middle, Walter Henry, was from New Jersey, and he fought for us at some of our fights. There's the world record that we promoted.
Yep.
So anyway, that's just some of our things that we've done throughout the years. Maybe something for somebody to look at, maybe boring to others, but at this point, we're just throwing anything we can out there, and we can touch on. Sheila's got so far behind on videos, I don't even know why we're even still making them, because she's got enough to do her for a year.
Oh my Lord.
But other than that, babe, you done your closing.
Yep.
Okay, guys, that's going to conclude this video. Sheila?
Hi guys, hope you're having a great day. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you, guys.